Mav knew why Coda wanted him to wait, as things had the odd habit of exploding or at least catching flame whenever he tried to be stealthy, but it didn't mean he had to like it. What he couldn't understand, however, was why he had to wait so far away from Secker Research's building. Attempting to stay away from suspicion was one thing, keeping back up over a mile away from the action was complete overkill. If they needed help, instead of being around the block, he was near a bunch of high-class restaurants where rich civilians were enjoying their first courses of their Thanksgiving feast. To top it all off, Mav couldn't even exercise to deal with his nerves. So instead, he paced, causing many civilians to shift nervous glances at him. Coda has a plan. It had become a mantra, beaten into his brain over and over again during the hour that he waited. There's a reason he's keeping me far away. I have to trust him. Then a message finally came from Coda. Hands full. Civilian in danger. Needs help. Blecker Street, between 4th and 5th Ave. Looked like pretense was dead. Mav was already sprinting towards Secker Research before he put the exact address in. 1.2 miles. Mav's motions flowed in a steady rhythm. The city speeding past. Hang on for just 5 minutes, Maren. Just push past it. Maren wished she could remove that cursed voice from her memory. Nothing good came from remembering Phoenix. She lost herself when he came to mind, which she couldn't afford. Control was key. Without it, there was no way Maren could escape this. But his voice ceaselessly rang in her ears, the calling cry to her damnation. Just push past it. Maren roared, stomping her foot on the ground. Water she couldn't waste spurted from her legs and spread throughout the street. 9 men on the right, 11 on the left. The wave suffused them all, but it barely pushed them back. For all of her efforts, the world listed beneath her, her head pounding against her skull. Did she have any water left? Just push past it. Maren breathed in, bringing her hands to her chest. The water returned, sweeping some men off their feet. She couldn't create any more water. She'd use everything available to her. I don't need to push. Maren narrowed her eyes, focusing. I need control. She gathered water along her left pointer finger and pinky fingers, aiming for the Windweaver. He surged away before she took the shot, her streams blasting into, but not through, a riot shield. Work with it. Maren sent another pressurized stream through the man's knee. He screamed, buckling into another man who Maren gave the same treatment. Just keep control. On the right, 3 men neared, raising batons. Maren swept her water to the side, colliding with their flanks and sending them sprawling. She twisted her head on a swivel, noticing the thugs with flamethrowers coming close. Water lashed out, sweeping away weapons, and a gust of wind battered her into the street, her head bouncing off the asphalt. Stars swam in her vision, a group of men surrounded her. Hurry. That was all Coda's message said. Not even a minute after the last, Mav grunted, picking up the pace. He protected those who couldn't defend themselves, but that didn't mean he wouldn't lend a hand to the strong. He wouldn't let anything happen to Maren. He couldn't and still be called a peacekeeper. Maybe Phoenix had a point. Maybe instead of reaching her limit and backing down, she should have charged past her comfort zone and acquired the greatness the rest of Radiant Dawn claimed to see in her. If Maren had, maybe she'd have been strong enough to handle all of these assailants. Maybe she wouldn't be lying in a puddle, half a dozen men reaching for her. Just push past it. Eyes closed tight, though still feeling dry. She concentrated at a dozen points in the puddle and pushed. Little geysers shot at the men, not powerful enough to cross through the skin and muscle, but enough to wound them. I'm not done yet. Maren rose and then stumbled. The men around her were still standing, though several held onto their wounds and bore grimaces. She collected the water, both on the ground and in the sky around her, then propelled another wave into them. 2 more men reached for her, but she slid between them, aided by the water, and rose, blasting them from behind with more streams. You won't take me while I stand. Another small wave toppled 3 more men, leaving an opening to her left. She took off, but found herself listing to the left in her dizziness. A firm hand grabbed her shoulder, then promptly released it as she shot gallons of water into his sternum. 2 more charged, ready to ram her with riot shields. She formed tendrils from the water in the road and submerged their shields, then ripped them from the guards. Another 3 men clutched their abdomens as Maren's streams collided into them. Then another 3 reached for her. She shot out her arm, but only a sputtering drizzle hit them. Her head throbbed. Wearied muscles made her arms droop. And as she fell, 2 men grabbed her and then pulled her over one of their shoulders. Try all she might, she couldn't protest, nor even open her eyes, let alone have the strength to flee. 4.5 minutes. Mav had never run a faster mile, and he'd technically run more than that. Each step, which should have exhausted him, rocketed him forwards. Maren was counting on him. He wouldn't let her down. Then he turned onto Blecker Street between 4th and 5th Ave. Emptiness, aside from scattered puddles of water and spatterings of blood, were all that remained. No! Mav, panting, ambled through the street, looking around. Nothing was there. Not a single person, even inside the nearby buildings, remained. I failed again, he shouted, throwing his arms down, the flames of his fury blasting the street.